My name is Vivian Harper. And I'd been with Lucas for 8 years when he suddenly told me he wanted to settle down. Fighting back hopeful excitement, I asked, "What made you decide this now?" Lucas didn't answer. Just lowered his head to kiss me. I spent days anticipating his proposal. Instead, he announced his engagement to someone else. I arrived at the venue just in time to overhear him chatting with friends. Vivian? Even after 8 years. She's still so predictable in bed. Got boring ages ago. Yet months later, he'd kneel in the snow all night begging me to marry him. When Emily called, I'd just returned to my office after teaching. Vi, what's going on with you and Lucas? I blinked at my cluttered desk. We're fine? Why? The silence stretched before she asked carefully. You're okay? Of course I am. I tucked the phone between my shoulder and ear. Gathering papers. Lucas and I are great. He just announced his engagement. To someone else. My leather bag slipped through frozen fingers. It took 60 glacial seconds to process her words. You didn't know? Emily's voice sharpened. I'd already opened Lucas' social media. His last post showed a wedding gown photo from last week. She'll look stunning in this. When friends flooded the comments asking if we were finally getting married, he'd replied, time to grow up and commit. I'd assumed she meant me. After all, who else would he marry after 8 years? Chuckling nervously, I grabbed my keys. Not funny. It's not April Fool's. She sent the screenshot without speaking. The engagement post appeared on my screen exactly 1 hour ago. Lucas beamed beside a delicate, doe-eyed girl clinging to his arm. A post I couldn't see on my own feed. The walk from campus to my apartment, normally 3 minutes, took 15. Each step replayed our morning texts. Lucas, good morning. Beautiful, 10:03 a.m., me, what are you up to? 10:15 a.m., Lucas, crushing deadlines at the office, 10:15 a.m. His proof photo showed a laptop beside conference room coffee mugs. The same mugs from his favorite private club's VIP lounge. Scrolling further, his frat brother's comment burned my retinas, finally upgrading from that prude. The living room blurred as I collapsed onto the couch. My gaze caught the unmade bed through the bedroom doorway. Sheets still tangled from last night. He'd said I love you while buckling his Rolex this morning. He'd whispered let's build a real future while I drowsed at 2 a.m. His teeth grazing my collarbone. He'd laughed when my mother nagged about biological clocks last Thanksgiving. Squeezing my hand under the table. Now tear streaks chilled my cheeks as I stared at his final message. No matter what happens in the future, Vivian, I'll always take care of you. When those words about no matter what the future holds first slipped out, did he mean he never intended to marry me? Before I knew it, I found myself standing outside the exclusive club Lucas frequented. Steeling myself, I walked through the frosted glass doors. The thumping bass from the VIP suite assaulted my ears as I reached the 3rd floor. I rarely joined these gatherings, between grading papers and preparing lectures. I preferred quiet evenings to this sensory overload. The entire floor had been reserved by Lucas and his trust fund crew. Their private room door left ajar in arrogant disregard. During a lull between tracks, a voice carried through the gap, damn Lucas. This is sudden. We all thought you'd end up marrying Vivian even if hell froze over. Peering through the opening, I watched Lucas lift his head from the blonde draped across his lap. He paused theatrically before chuckling, catching a grape between his teeth from her manicured fingers. Their lips met halfway in an obscene parody of intimacy. Vivian? His voice dripped with mock nostalgia even as the woman playfully punched his chest. 8 years of missionary position gets old. You know? Marry her? I'd have to be insane. Missionary position. Gets old. The words carved through me like shrapnel. When had this disgust started? During those late nights at the office last year? Was I inadequate because I didn't know his desired kinks? Did he need to seek thrills elsewhere after our encounters? The room erupted in laughter as the blonde nuzzled Lucas' neck. Do I make you happy? She purred. You're young, flexible, and full of surprises. His finger traced her collarbone. Unlike someone who keeps nagging about wedding venues, Someone wolf whistled. Man's got a point. You were obsessed with Viv before. Lucas shrugged. Even Mona Lisa gets boring if you stare at it daily. My palm slammed against the cold wall as white noise drowned the revelry. This man who'd sketched our future with rose gardens and cathedral vows, was this his truth? My fingers trembled on the door handle. What would barging in achieve? Slapping him? Demanding explanations? Pathetic. They'd laugh over champagne while I became tomorrow's gossip. Lucas would just order another bottle. Annoyed by the scene, the DJ resumed playing as the girl poured tequila into Lucas' mouth. I fled. Bile rising. Every rehearsed argument dissolved, what remained to say? When the door clicked shut behind me, Lucas glanced up inexplicably unsettled. But Vivian was home grading essays. Right? He glared at his silent phone. Irritation flaring. Why did even thinking about her grate his nerves now? Whenever Lucas said he was working overtime, Vivian wouldn't call him even once. Sometimes he even felt Vivian didn't care about him at all, she just wanted to trap him in marriage to satisfy her family. Lucas. What's wrong? Sophia in his arms touched his Adam's apple. He looked down at her heavily made-up face, frowned slightly, and pushed her away in irritation. Vivian rarely wore such flashy makeup. Yet she always looked effortlessly beautiful and pure. He'd genuinely loved her for years. But even the sweetest honey turns cloying. He'd thought Vivian would be different. Maybe he'd started resenting her when she kept asking about marriage. What's so great about getting married? Couldn't they just stay like this forever? Leaving the club, I took a cab home. Lucas called during the ride. I didn't answer. Why aren't you picking up? I didn't know what he wanted, probably to break up. Vivian. Are you really that busy? How could he call me while holding another woman? The hypocrisy made me sick. Back home, I returned Emily's call. I'm fine. Don't come all this way. She fumed. Now you worry about distance? Why did you stubbornly follow him to the ends of the earth back then? I stayed silent, closing my tired eyes. Why? Because I loved him. Loved him enough to abandon everything and follow him from south to north. The winters here froze bones, but his arms felt like summer. Back then, he loved me too. Lucas was my first love, the heartbeat that quickened my pulse at 17. He wasn't the grand heir then. Just a troublemaker with bruised knuckles. People called his mother a homewrecker. Labeled him a fatherless freak. Friends warned me away. Had I not seen him bleeding to protect a stray cat? Witnessed him pushing his mother's cart through snow in threadbare sweaters. Heard his choked sobs that desperate night, I might have believed them all. But I saw his vulnerability beneath the defiance. Knew he wasn't just some violent thug. In that tender age of first loves, I fell irrevocably for the boy fighting to rise above the mud. He vowed we'd attend the same university. Then vanished before graduation. When we met again, he wore tailored suits instead of faded tees. She's gone, he whispered red-eyed. Claiming I was his only anchor. Begged me to run away with him. So I changed my college applications. Packed my life into a suitcase. And followed Lucas north. We've been running ever since. That night he wept in my arms. Promising. Vivian. I'll never let you down. But forever came too soon. His affection turned to indifference. Our love couldn't survive the 8-year itch. The banging door startled me awake. Why was I dreaming of the past? Wiping the tear stains from my face, I opened the door to find Lucas leaning heavily against the frame. The sharp scent of alcohol hit me as he pulled me into an embrace. His stubble scratching my neck. Vivian. He slurred. Why didn't you answer my calls? I tried pushing him away, repulsed by the liquor fumes. But he caught my wrist. His lips brushed my skin as he murmured. Don't push me away. You promised you'd never push me away. He pressed me against the doorframe. His intoxicated gaze dropping to my lips. My eyes caught the lipstick smudge on his collar, crimson traces that didn't belong to me. The familiar ache in my chest sharpened into clarity as I shoved him away with unexpected force. How can you demand loyalty while wearing another woman's kiss? My voice trembled despite my resolve. Lucas blinked. Confusion replacing his earlier confidence. Go home, I stated, gesturing to the elevator. It's late. His expression crumpled into that wounded puppy look I'd once found endearing. Am I in trouble, Vivian? He attempted another embrace, the childhood nickname slicing through my defenses. Punish me however you want. Just don't send me away. Please? The vibration from his pocket saved me. That distinctive double buzz shattered the nostalgic spell. There'll be no punishments anymore, I said coldly, steering him into the hallway. The lock clicked with finality. Silence lingered before frantic pounding shook the door. Thankfully, my solitary existence on this floor meant no witnesses to this spectacle. Grading papers provided grim distraction, the dismal trigonometry scores mirroring my own life's downward trajectory. Teaching had gifted me stress-induced breast hyperplasia and little else. When the assault on my door ceased, 2 text notifications chimed. My stylus clattered to the floor as I opened the messages. Did you see Lucas's post? An unknown number taunted. Our engagement party's next week. He says you're as exciting as freezer-burned cod in bed. Do all teachers lack imagination? The second message contained a strategically censored photo, her modesty preserved by emojis. Lucas's ecstatic face unmistakable. Bile rose in my throat as I fled to the bathroom. Returning to my living room, I methodically gathered Lucas's possessions, the spare razor, his pretentious artisanal coffee beans, the cashmere sweater I'd secretly kept for its familiar scent. The bag waited by the door when I discovered him slumped against the wall. Feeling better, Vivian? He blinked up through messy bangs, deploying that wounded expression that once melted my resolve. Now it only fueled my revulsion. Take your things. I thrust the bag forward. His drunken smirk vanished. What's this? Exactly what it looks like. Leave. The bag skidded across the floor as he kicked it. Explain yourself. Tears threatened but didn't fall. We're done. Lucas. His laugh held no humor. You're dumping me? The irony hung thick, the cheater playing victim. Before I could respond, his lips crushed mine in a desperate kiss tasting of bourbon and deceit. The thought of him kissing someone else just hours ago made me sick to my stomach. His drunken strength overwhelmed me as he forced himself on me, only letting go when I bit his lip hard enough to draw blood. Breaking free, I slapped him across the face with a sharp crack that left us both stunned. Vivian, tell me why. You know damn well why. I scrubbed my mouth furiously with my sleeve. Lucas's face darkened. Is this because I turned down your marriage proposal? We'll get married eventually. Are you really breaking up over this? My heart sank as I looked at Lucas. Yes. I want marriage now. I don't have endless years to waste. Lucas. Oh. And congratulations on your engagement. Lucas jerked upright, panic flashing across his face. How did? I saw everything. You could have posted it publicly. I wouldn't have clung to you like some desperate fool. My voice shook. I want stability. But I still have self-respect. Vivian. Save it. Get out. 2 men from the Grant family arrived as Lucas tried to speak. I'd called their butler earlier. Don't fucking touch me. Lucas roared. But the silver-haired butler simply nodded at the bodyguards. Having served the Grant patriarch for decades, even Lucas couldn't defy him. Silence engulfed the apartment after his departure. My eyes fell on the birthday gift I'd prepared for him. I grabbed the box and threw it toward the trash, only to fish it out 3 seconds later. Might as well sell it online, that designer watch cost 2 weeks' salary. Every corner of our rented apartment held memories. I stared at our shared life until sunrise. A week passed without contact. After 2 days wallowing, my students' failing test scores snapped me back to reality. While grading papers at school, my phone buzzed with a group notification. Grant's sweetie had joined Lucas's friend group, her profile picture showing her cheek to cheek with him. I left the chat immediately. Lucas called within seconds. Meant to decline. I accidentally answered. Vivian, his voice slurred with that familiar tipsy whine. I'm drunk. I hung up without speaking. When he kept calling, I blocked his number. Strangely, this week of silence brought clarity. Excising Lucas from my life didn't hurt nearly as much as I'd feared. Maybe Lucas and I had already hit that point of relationship fatigue. After so many years together, my stubborn attachment kept convincing myself to wait for him a little longer. But not anymore. No amount of effort could make someone stay who never intended to build a life with me. Lucas stared at the disconnected call, his grip tightening on the phone until he slammed it onto the table. His sudden outburst left everyone in the private lounge uneasy. Ethan ventured. "Vivian's not picking up?" Lucas drained his whiskey, yanking at his tie. "Damn. She blocked me." Vivian blocked Lucas? That was unexpected. Last time she blocked him during an argument. She couldn't be reached when he had an accident. She'd cried her eyes out at the hospital afterward, swearing never to cut contact again no matter how bad things got. What changed now? "Lucas, does she know about your engagement?" He paused before grunting affirmation. No wonder. Ethan quickly backtracked under Lucas' glare. How'd she find out? Lucas had posted that engagement announcement drunk. Remembered to exclude Vivian. Then deleted it sober. His face darkened. After checking his contacts, he realized he'd unknowingly added Emily, Vivian's best friend. If she couldn't keep her mouth shut, he'd make her. Emily's video call came as I finished organizing documents. "What's up, Em?" She looked drained but forced a smile. "Just missed you." Collapsing onto her bed, she asked bluntly, "You finally dumped that asshole?" "Yeah. Good. That trash never deserved you." Her voice shook with anger. The resentment was real. But ultimately, I'd been the fool, naive, expecting too much. These days without Lucas weren't great, but survivable. Losing him didn't hurt as much as I'd feared. Enough about him. "What's going on with you?" "Me? Nothing." She avoided eye contact. "Fine. I'll come ask in person tomorrow." I moved to pack. Emily jolted upright. "Stop being dramatic. All that traveling's exhausting. Then stop hiding things." She waved dismissively. "It's nothing serious." Her tone turned casual as she described recent events. "He's retaliating against you? Because Emily told me about Lucas' engagement. He got her fired?" Petty and childish, classic Lucas. Emily snorted. "Think I'm scared? The mighty Grant family can't control everything. I'll just find another job." "But you love this position." "Enough. I'll handle it. This is entirely that bastard's fault." She cut me off firmly before changing subjects. "Winter break's coming. Visiting home? We haven't seen you in ages. You really abandoned your girls for some guy." Her joking tone couldn't mask my guilt. For years, I'd skipped holidays for Lucas. My parents cut contact until 2 years ago. Looking back, I'd been unbelievably stupid. To think she'd abandon her own family and friends over some guy. And here I was, lecturing my students at every homeroom about avoiding puppy love and not getting scammed. I felt a pang of guilt. "Come back and I'll give you a bonus from the homeroom teacher stipend," I offered. "Don't mock me." Emily rolled her eyes. "That measly stipend barely covers coffee money." Ouch. Brutally honest remark. The paltry sum hadn't even been paid out for months anyway. After catching up with Emily, Ethan's call came through. We weren't close if he was reaching out. It had to involve Lucas. Ignoring the call, I read his text. "Lucas drank too much. Says his stomach hurts. You coming?" I chuckled bitterly. Did everyone around Lucas assume I'd come running whenever he feigned discomfort? Tapping my exam drafts, I sent a voice message. "Tell him to get his stomach removed at the hospital. I'm an educator, not a physician. Also inform Lucas that if he has issues, he should address me directly. Using mutual friends as pawns is pathetic." After sending this, I blocked Ethan. We were never really friends anyway. Ethan stared at his phone like it had burned him, warily eyeing Lucas across the bar. The Grant heir kicked over a table, shattering crystal glasses. Sophia jumped, clutching his arm. "Lucas, calm down. Get lost." He shook her off venomously. "Taking out the trash later." I found Lucas reeking of bourbon blocking my path. Why didn't you come get me? He demanded. I sidestepped his grasping hand. You're not a child. I'm not your babysitter. His face fell. You're angry. Not particularly. Truth. But he sneered in disbelief. I can explain about that night. Save it. If I hadn't overheard his vile comments at the club myself, I might have cared. So you won't even hear me out? He gripped my wrist. What if I actually marry someone else? You just watch? Your circus. I shrugged. Now let go. Never. His grip tightened painfully. Take that back. Vivian. Typical Lucas logic. I shoved him off. Hyper-aware of student apartments nearby. Stop acting like some heartbroken lover. You're engaged. His mouth crashed against mine. All teeth and desperation. I smashed the trash bag against his skull. The canned soup inside clanged ominously. He staggered back, clutching his head. For once, Lucas looked genuinely shocked. Feeling slightly guilty, I instinctively reached out but pulled back upon seeing the amusement in Lucas' eyes. He was faking it. Lucas always used this trick on me. And every damn time I fell for it. Which only encouraged him. As we walked upstairs after taking out the trash, Lucas trailed behind me. How long are you planning to follow me? He still hadn't addressed our breakup talk from that night, typical Lucas. Trying to sweep everything under the rug. Vivian. I drank tonight. Lucas said with wounded puppy dog eyes. I noticed. Your point? He leaned his forehead against my shoulder, murmuring. My stomach hurts. When he moved closer, I felt the unnatural heat radiating from him and realized he only wore a thin sweater in this freezing weather. My fingers twitched toward his forehead before I caught myself. Pathetic. Still worrying if he had fever after everything. 21 days form a habit. They say. I'd loved Lucas for 8 years. Being good to him had become second nature. But even the deepest grooves could be erased. I shoved him away. See a doctor if you're sick. I'm not your medicine. Lucas stumbled back against the wall, slowly lifting red-rimmed eyes that might have been from alcohol or illness. Not my concern anymore. I slammed the door. He pounded the doorbell like a madman before going silent. The temperature plummeted tonight. Tossing in bed, I kept imagining Lucas freezing to death on my doorstep, terrible feng shui if nothing else. Grabbing a throw blanket, I yanked the door open to find him texting furiously. Some girl had sent a cleavage-bearing selfie asking if he'd come over tonight. Lucas snarled at his phone. Stop fucking messaging me. I said I'm not. The door creak made him jerk upright, hastily hiding his phone. Vivian. Let me expel. The deadbolt clicked louder than his excuses. Staring at the blanket in my hands, I laughed until my vision blurred. Threw it back on the couch. Blasted music through my earbuds. And let the doorbell scream itself hoarse. Human nature's pathetic. Still worrying he might catch pneumonia? Let the bastard freeze. By morning, Lucas had vanished. I shipped his leftover belongings via same-day courier. Students were sneak peeking through classroom windows when he cornered me after fourth period. Vivian. What the hell do you want from me? Lucas roared, drawing every rubbernecking teen's attention. I cursed the kids back inside, cheeks burning. But Lucas didn't care. Public humiliation only ever stung me. I never agreed to this breakup. You can't just shut up. I pulled Lucas toward the exit of the academic building. Only when we reached the tree-lined path did I shake off his grip. What's wrong with you? Lucas showed no remorse. You returned all my things? This desperate to get rid of me? We broke up. Your belongings don't belong in my space anymore. Who the hell said we broke up? Lucas grabbed my shoulders, voice cracking. I don't agree. Vivian. I never agreed to this. I used to think him immature. Now I believed him genuinely unwell, engaged to another yet still clinging to me. Even causing scenes at my workplace. What else explained this madness? Your consent isn't required. I leveled him with a stare. Just like how you didn't need my permission to get engaged. Lucas ran agitated fingers through his hair. You're still hung up on that? I told you I was drunk that night. The engagement was just some stupid game dare. Give me time and I'll. The slap echoed between us. He staggered back, hand flying to his reddening cheek. You hit me? Lucas. Marriage wasn't my endgame. Neither were you. My voice stayed steady despite the ache spreading through my palm. I expected basic decency to admit you cheated. That you fell for someone else. But you keep lying. Does deception fuel you? Didn't I tell you? If you ever wanted out, just say it. No disappearing to screw other people. My composure fractured. Drunk? So calling me boring. Saying you're. The words dissolved in my throat. Reopening wounds still too fresh. Yet seeing Lucas's ashen face brought perverse relief. Maybe I wasn't clever. This mutual destruction hurt us both, but at least I wouldn't suffer alone. His eyes widened with dawning horror. You were at the club that night? How typical. His panic confirmed everything. Did he think my absence that night would have made me forgive him? Doesn't matter now. I stepped back. Just remember we're done. Stop haunting my life. The class bell rang. As I turned to leave, Lucas wrapped his arms around me from behind. Vivian. Those words weren't real. I don't care. My voice turned arctic. Release me. I have class. Viv. Let go. The arms fell away. When I glanced back after a few steps, hope flickered across his face. Vivian. I knew you'd. Don't flatter yourself. I cut him off. One last thing, stop harassing Emily over this mess. My judgment's already questionable enough. Don't make me despise you. Leaving him stunned on the path, I walked toward the lecture halls. With each step, the weight lessened. By the time Lucas disappeared from view, I breathed freely again. The campus motto etched on the building facade caught my eye. Not terrible. All things considered. At least I hadn't abandoned my career for him. Lucas's spectacle fueled gossip for days. I regretted not slapping him harder. True colors emerged afterward. Through mutual friends' social media, I endured endless posts of Lucas and Sophia's performative embraces, all calculated intimacy. Or perhaps that was my bitterness talking. I exited the app and methodically erased every connection to Lucas. I thought that would finally give me peace. But barely 2 weeks later, he showed up at the school gate again, with someone else. Sophia. While this counted as our first formal meeting, her hostility toward me was palpable. When Lucas wasn't looking, she shot me a challenging glare. I simply found it tiresome. Lucas cornered me at the school entrance while I was heading to dinner with a colleague. Do you know each other? My coworker glanced between us. Never met. Let's go. As I walked past Lucas, he viciously grabbed my wrist and sneered. Never met? Say that again. I dare you. His temper seemed worse than before. Though few people lingered at the gate, his booming voice drew curious stares from passing students. My colleague nudged me with questioning eyes. Go ahead and meet the others. I'll catch up later. After some hesitation, she left at my insistence. I shook Lucas off and strode away. But he cut me off. Repeat what you just said. Never met who? My gaze flickered to Sophia behind him. Lucas. This is pathetic. Didn't I warn you not to cause scenes here? Are you deaf? He showed zero remorse. Vivian. His voice turned gravelly. I'll ask one last time, are you seriously dumping me? I laughed bitterly. Wasn't our last conversation clear enough? Or do you really think I'm that desperate? Why the hell would I still want to marry you? You know that's not what I meant. He frowned. Who cares? I shrugged. If you came to humiliate me. Sorry to disappoint. Now take your little entourage and get lost. He opened his mouth but I cut him off. Don't force conversation when you've got nothing to say. We're both busy adults. Stay out of my life from now on. A decent ex should act like they're dead after a breakup. Got it? Before he could respond, I sprinted onto an approaching bus. Seeing Lucas now didn't even anger me anymore. Loving someone took 8 years. But falling out of love? Apparently just 2 weeks. Maybe the feelings had faded long ago. Winter break arrived amidst student complaints. One perk of being faculty was paid vacations. The moment holidays started, Emily called. "Sweetie, when are you coming? I'll pick you up." "Today." She immediately booked my flight, as if fearing I'd back out. En route to the airport, Sophia's message popped up. "Damn. Forgot to block her. Care to attend Lucas and my engagement party? Everyone says you used to beg him for marriage while he refused. Funny how it's me he's marrying now. Women shouldn't chase men, makes us look cheap." Attached were a gaudy red marriage certificate and a positive pregnancy test. I never particularly disliked Sophia. Lucas and I would have crashed regardless of her. Without her, there'd be someone else. But her constant provocations. Did she really think I'd roll over? "Congratulations. You don't need to provoke me or see me as competition. I don't revisit trash I've thrown out. Though I'm curious, were you a dumpster in your past life? Obsessed with collecting garbage? P.S. A New Year's pig can be quite valuable too." Another entry for the block list. Just another day dealing with nonsense. What should have been a good day reeked of bad luck. I stared out the window, feeling utterly miserable. Sophia wasn't completely wasting her efforts, she genuinely managed to irritate me. So Lucas really meant it when he said he wanted stability. He'd considered settling down. Just never with me. Those first few days after the breakup, I'd drowned in self-doubt. Was there something wrong with me? Why hadn't he wanted to marry me after all these years? Now I realized the problem was always him. I'd never wronged him during our relationship. Yet he'd kept me tethered with empty promises while chasing thrills with others. Even humiliating me with his words. This was his failure, not mine. I could only curse my own bad luck. This was the price for loving someone so deeply. Emily nearly crushed me in a bear hug the moment I stepped off the plane. My mother's call came right on schedule. "So you remember you have parents? I thought you'd forgotten we were even alive." "Mom, don't say that. I'm home now. Aren't I?" Guilt gnawed at me. I'd neglected my parents while obsessing over Lucas. What kind of daughter does that? My punishment should be force-feeding myself multiple helpings of Mom's braised pork knuckles. Mom slapped my arm the instant Emily and I walked through the door. Seeing her tear-filled eyes, I would have gladly knelt to let her hit me properly. She alternated between scolding and clutching me in a shaking embrace. "Running off alone where no one cares if you're sick or bullied, what were you thinking?" What indeed? Being home felt surreal. Sleeping through mornings without making breakfast or medicinal porridge. The more I thought about it, the more I realized how deluded I'd been. Anonymous texts started appearing after my return. Lucas clearly had too much free time. I blocked each number without reading. With New Year's approaching, I focused on holiday preparations instead, hanging red lanterns. Shopping for festivities. Our courtyard glowed with decorations on lunar New Year's Eve. Staring at the vibrant scene, I suddenly choked up. I could have had this warmth every year instead of freezing my heart out for someone undeserving. Watching my parents' laughter lines deepen as they moved through our brightly lit house, I smiled too. It wasn't too late to reclaim this. When snow dusted our southern town, Emily and I ambushed the neighbor's kid in a snowball fight. The boy screeched home for reinforcements, returning minutes later with a ridiculously handsome guy over 6 feet tall. We exchanged glances. Emily immediately pounced to get his contact info. Turns out looks couldn't compensate for terrible aim. We trounced them both. Dad set off firecrackers at midnight while Mom buzzed in the kitchen. I helped by sneaking tastes, earning half-hearted scolding. These days healed me in ways I hadn't expected. My parents never mentioned Lucas. During dinner, the handsome stranger and his chubby younger brother joined our table, their laughter blending with the clatter of dishes. The scars in my heart finally felt like they might fade. Still crashing our New Year's Eve dinner? I barely got the words out before Mom smacked my arm. "This is Jason, your brother Thompson's son. His father couldn't make it back this year. Though young, I held seniority in our family ties. The Thompson's kid has grown this much already?" I tilted my head toward the guy beside me, grinning. "Go on. Call me Auntie." I held you as a baby. You know. Mom slapped my arm again. Eat your food. Jason ducked his head with a quiet chuckle. Unfazed by my teasing. For someone my age. He took my nonsense surprisingly well. Guy had patience. The table groaned under Mom's enthusiastic servings to Jason's plate until I blurted. Can't you stay home tomorrow? Mom's forgotten I exist since you showed up. He blinked. All innocence. Until the doorbell interrupted. We both rose to answer. Mom shooing us toward the entryway. The moment we escaped her sight, Jason's polite mask slipped. You really carried me as a kid. Weren't you a shrimp back then? Ask your dad if you don't believe me. Shrimp or not. You're still calling me aunt. My retort died as the door swung open. Lucas stood framed in the winter dark. Gaze sharpening on Jason. Am I interrupting something cozy? I stepped between them. Irritation flaring. What are you doing here? Happy New Year? Vivian. He offered a gift bag. Smile brittle. You promised to spend every holiday with me. Plenty of others would kill to keep you company. Save the act. My coldness made him flinch. You know they're not you. What's the difference? Am I some goddess? The bitter laugh caught in my throat as Mom's voice carried down the hall. Lucas' knuckles whitened on the doorframe. You'd really shut me out tonight? You know I've got no one else. Guilt twisted through me. I'm sorry. Family shouts shouldn't weaponize old wounds. No matter our history. Footsteps approached. Before he could speak again, I shoved Lucas into the snowdrift and slammed the door on his stunned face. Jason raised an eyebrow at the muffled thud of falling gifts. History there? None of your business. I dragged him back to the table where steam rose from untouched dishes. Outside. Snowfall blurred the silhouette leaning against our oak tree, a shadow watching our laughter through frost-rimmed glass. Cigarette embers burning twin holes in the night. After Vivian left, she probably wouldn't spend New Year's with him anymore. He destroyed everything with his own hands. He thought he'd grown tired of Vivian. Yet within 2 months of separation, he'd started missing her desperately. Drinking daily to numb himself only made her haunt his dreams. When he couldn't locate her, Lucas nearly lost his mind. Upon discovering she'd returned to Cloud City, he immediately booked the earliest flight. Of course Vivian had family, it was because of him she hadn't returned home all these years. Only he had no family. No relatives. Vivian had been his everything. Now he'd apparently lost the only person he could hold on to. He's still down there, Emily said, peering through the bedroom window. My hands paused while drying my hair. Let him admire the snow as long as he likes. The weather forecast says there's a blizzard tonight, she hinted. I sighed. Emily. Stop testing me. I told you. Whatever happens to him isn't my concern. Relief washed over her face. I was afraid you'd soften if he played the victim card. Never. Approaching the window, I glanced down to see Lucas standing below, his face tilting upward as if sensing my gaze. I yanked the curtains shut. The next morning, my phone exploded with calls from familiar area codes. Who's this? Daniel here. He claimed Lucas was seriously ill at some hotel, refusing medical help with his phone dead. Which hotel? I asked after brief hesitation. Emily buried her face in the pillows. Exasperated. After getting the hotel name from Daniel, I called their front desk to request a welfare check and possible ambulance. Surprised you didn't rush over yourself, Emily remarked, visibly relieved. Contacting the front desk was charity enough. I yawned, collapsing back into bed. Later, while setting off fireworks with Jason and his brother in the laxly regulated town, my mind kept wandering. Emily's concern wasn't unfounded, I'd nearly wavered. Years of tending to Lucas's minor scrapes made his current state tug at me despite my resolve. Returning home that evening, I collided with Lucas at the gate. His sickly pallor and bandage stood out starkly. Violent coughs shook his frame as he glared at Jason. You went out with him? Ignoring him, I moved toward the house. Lucas suddenly lunged forward, his feverish lips aiming for mine. I twisted away, his kiss landing on my cheek. Weakened by illness, He staggered back when I shoved him. Rage finally erupted. Are you out of your mind? If you're sick, go get treated. If you can't be cured, go die. Just stop bothering me. What did he mean by kissing me now? To humiliate me? Or trying to make me recall old feelings and soften toward him? But his kisses no longer made my heart flutter, they only made me nauseous. Emily wisely dragged Jason and the others away. Lucas and I stood facing each other. His face so pale he might collapse any second. I felt no concern whatsoever. His lips parted slightly before he finally spoke. Vivian. Please don't do this. Don't treat me like this. What do you expect? For me to act like before? Do you really think that's possible? Lucas? I hadn't argued with him since his public announcement. I'd always believed love should either unite people or let them part cleanly, squabbling over whose right seemed pointless. My silence didn't mean I wasn't angry. I just wanted us both to keep some dignity. But why couldn't he leave me in peace? Why not? Because of the engagement? Or because of Sophia? Lucas stumbled over his words. Desperate. There's no engagement with Sophia. I only did that to provoke you. I was wrong. I swear I'll never use such tactics again. And Sophia. I admit I felt something because she reminded me so much of how you used to be. But I don't love her. Nothing happened. You're the only one I've ever loved. Vivian. Let's get married. Whenever you want. I actually laughed. Reminded him of my former self? What a brilliant excuse. Nothing happened? Can you say that with a straight face? Wasn't it you making out with her at the club? You who said her youth and beauty excited you? Or that the child in her womb isn't yours? Lucas. You truly disgust me. How did I ever fall for such a spineless coward? His pupils dilated as he stared at me. Panic-stricken. The guilt on his face looked almost comical. When he staggered, nearly losing balance, I softened my tone. I'm not 18-year-old Vivian anymore. These tactics won't work. And you're not teenage Lucas either. Stop making excuses and playing victim, it's pathetic. Go be with Sophia. Don't make me regret every choice I've made these years. I thought I'd been clear that day. Yet Lucas kept appearing at my doorstep daily for a week, holding flowers and ring boxes. My parents initially disapproved. But his persistent visits in freezing weather wore them down. His recent good behavior swayed them, they only knew we'd broken up. Not why. Seizing the opportunity, Lucas shifted from courting me to charming my parents, helping Mom with groceries and plumbing. Playing chess with Dad. Today he'd even weaseled his way into staying for dinner. Who said you could stay? I snapped. Your parents invited me. He smiled. I swallowed my anger. Just one meal. When he tried serving me food, I left my bowl and went upstairs to pack. After he left, I confronted my parents. Let him in again. And I'm gone tomorrow. They exchanged glances. We thought you wanted him here but were too proud to say. With boundaries re-established, Lucas found himself locked out again. He didn't seem to care. Simply handing me the flowers. I took them. Lucas froze, he'd been delivering these for ages. Yet today was the first time I'd accepted them. Glancing at the vibrant roses, I tossed them straight into the trash. His smile stiffened. I stared coldly. Stop wasting effort on my parents. If you're any kind of man, you'd go back right now. Marry Sophia. Be a proper husband and father instead of harassing me. Lucas paced, his telltale sign of impending anger, but this time he only rasped. I won't marry anyone but you. Producing a ring, he knelt to propose again. My brow furrowed as I slapped the jewelry from his hand. How can I make you forgive me? Marry me. He pressed. Never. Kneel here till you rot. Would kneeling until you're satisfied earn your forgiveness? Lucas gripped my wrist. Voice softening. I've hired wedding planners. The flower fields. Rainbow Bridge from your dreams, will have it all. Vivian. Please. So he remembered. I didn't understand. For years I'd ached to marry him. Only to face rejection and humiliation. Now when I'd moved on, he pursued this farce. Yanking free. I glared down. Why would I want soiled goods? 8 years of your face is enough. Marry you? I'd rather chew glass. Think you're some Adonis? You repulse me. His wounded expression grated my nerves. Ring any bells? When he stayed silent, I turned away, entering my house without another glance. Night fell. Snow swirling outside. Lucas remained kneeling. After hours watching his silhouette sway under accumulating snowdrifts, I finally called the Grant family butler, ignoring days of his evasive excuses. The old man would never risk Lucas's life, meaning he'd been lurking nearby all along. As I flung open the door, light spilled over Lucas. His frost-coated lashes fluttered, stiff fingers reaching for mine. I sidestepped. He collapsed face-first into snow. Kneeling beside him, I hissed, "If this is your pathetic guilt trip, congratulations. I warned you long ago, betray me once, and you're dead to me." His blue-tinged lips parted soundlessly, hand twitching toward empty air. Come out now or let him die here. Four figures emerged from shadows. The butler sighed, hauling Lucas away, even half-conscious. Those eyes sought mine, desperate for regret he'd never find. On my last vacation day, Emily dragged me to lunch, with Jason in tow. They were dating. My best friend had abandoned me for weeks chasing this romance. Treat her right, I warned Jason. Mistreat Emily, and I'll have your dad teach you manners. He grinned. Yes, Auntie. Good boy. I turned to Emily. She fake gasped. Don't you dare claim seniority. You'll always be my OG bae. We burst into laughter, clinging to each other at the airport until tears threatened. The thought of returning to my classroom of bratty kids almost broke me. My parents, still at Grandma's, flooded my phone with farewell calls. Nobody came to see me off. The messages were all reminders to eat well, sleep enough, not get angry at students, and consider quitting to come home if needed since they could support me. I agreed to everything. When I woke up, I was back in this city, a place where I knew no one. My contract was nearing expiration, and I figured it was time to return where I belonged. Lucas never reappeared. I didn't go out of my way to check on him either. On the day I decided to resign after my contract ended, I saw him outside my apartment. I expected another outburst, but he simply greeted me politely. 6 months had changed him. He seemed more mature and composed. Can we talk? He asked. We have nothing to discuss. He smiled bitterly. Just a few words? After a pause, I relented. Go ahead. You're quitting? Yes. Returning home? Yes. He hesitated. Will you ever come back? No. He nodded. Understood. As I turned to leave, he called, Vivian. I stopped. What now? I'm sorry. His voice cracked slightly. And thank you. For everything. I didn't look back or reply. Rounding the corner, I glimpsed him crouched on the ground, sobbing into his hands. A tall man reduced to a pitiful figure. But it no longer concerned me. 2 years passed since I moved back. I started an after-school program and hired teachers. Most days, I gardened with my mom or visited the center. Life was peaceful, my stress levels plummeted. Emily and Jason were marrying by year's end. At her bachelorette party, we drank too much and cried together. Do you still want to marry someday? She slurred. Dunno. Not now. Maybe if I meet the right person. On her wedding day, Lucas sent a gift through an associate. Emily glanced at me. I shrugged. If he insists, take it. While getting ready, Emily gossiped. Rumor is his company's in trouble. He never ended up with Sophia, the baby wasn't even his. Karma. Huh? Her tone dripped with lingering resentment. I felt nothing. 2 years had nearly erased him from my memory. Grudges faded with time. Life's too short to dwell on bitterness, better to focus on joy. Gardening with Mom mellowed me. Pinching Emily's cheek, I laughed. Enough gloom on your big day. Bad luck. She grinned. Right. Let's party.